Hi, everybody. It's Isha. I just wanted to point something out right quick to those of us that have been searching for Ishi with all our heart. He's going to show up for us, okay? So when you hear the voice of his messenger, or when you hear his voice, don't be so shocked. He heard you calling. Ishi. Ishi can be found in Hosea chapter 2, verse 16 in the King James Version Bible. If you don't have that Bible, you can type it into your phone if you have that, or like your internet, whatever internet source you use. So it's another name for God. He told me to call him Ishi. I don't know how. I don't think I'm supposed to keep explaining that like that though. I think I'm supposed to just say, yeah, Ishi this, Ishi that, right? Um, but just so it doesn't, well, I don't know. I guess I'll just stop it right now. Ishi, the love of my life. Um, so yeah, be prepared, be expecting. He usually, well, from my experience, when he does things, he will gradually do it. That's what he's done for me so far. So like, I've been studying and reading the Bible to people and doing a lot for Ishi, a lot for the kingdom of heaven. And Ishi showed up just like that. Just like that. But he did it gradually for me too. Like at first there were dreams and then I would hear uh, his voice speaking to me when I wake up and things like that and he would show me things. And when I say there were dreams, the dreams, and the messages in the dreams started becoming more and more intense. Like he instructed me in my dreams, and I could ask him questions and receive an answer in my sleep, and wake up and know what I'm supposed to do about whatever question I had or whatever. So yes, and then he began to wake me up at certain hours and he showed me that I was supposed to get up and go to the gym every day, like Monday through Friday, really. And I would get up, and the gym opened at the gym opens at 5 o'clock. I haven't been going lately. He put me on something else, but gym opens at 5 o'clock in the morning, and so I would get up real early so that I could be prepared to be there. I was really used to try to be there like right when it opens, but yeah, I'll get there somewhere between 5:30 and 6 or whatever. And he would get me up. He'd wake me up at about 4:15, 4:30. And the way that he would wake me up, I would feel like my eyes would just, they would just open up like involuntarily. Um, Not forcefully or anything like that, but just like you can feel the uh, the power, or well, power, that's a strong word. It was not forcefully, but I could feel his presence doing that, like opening my eyes without me trying to do it or wanting to. And just, wow, your eyes are open. And then I started feeling him. It felt like someone was pulling something in my stomach, and I could feel this pull, and I would wake up with that pull, and I knew that's the issue waking me up. So he would get me up at about like 4 or something, in the morning, and I'll get ready to go to the gym. And and then he started waking me up a little bit earlier. And you know what I would do? I would get up, look at the clock, and then decide that he was probably just wanting me to uh, pray again or like speak with him some more. So that's what I would do. I would pray and then I would go back to sleep. And I can picture now that I know him a lot better, I can picture him being like, okay, you want to sleep, huh? Go ahead. He probably like dealt with me like that because he did let me go ahead and sleep. He's very patient with me, but he started letting me know that he really meant for me to get my butt up. And when I would go back to sleep, he would let me drift off. And right when I thought I was getting good, and drifting off back into sleep, still early in the morning, then he would wake me right back up again. He wanted me to get up. And I said, okay, you want me to get up? But it's 3:30. What do I do? And struggled with it for a little bit. Um, but he started showing me that he really meant for me to be up. And the fact that I don't know what I'm supposed to do when I get up, like, that's not a reason to not do what you know that he's asking you to do, right? So I started getting up and pushing a little bit. And then, he got me up even earlier. Now he's getting me up at 3. The next thing would be 2:30, and 2. And I'm still not understanding what I was supposed to do because I could tell by the way he would uh, persist that he was persistent. Like if I tried to go to sleep, shoo, like eyes open, the thing that I described in my stomach, like and I knew that he was getting me up, and I would be sleepy, and I'll say, okay, I'll get up, and I would try to find, that he didn't tell me to do a certain thing. He just had me get up. So I would go play the piano, or I would try something. Um, I was also at this time I was in school. I started at school the beginning of 2022. So I was able to do that. Like, oh, I have to do this assignment or whatever. And he kept getting me up earlier and earlier. He didn't stop doing that until he finally woke me up at midnight one night. And that night, um, I'm like, but and I didn't understand what was going on. So I went and he had already like chastised me a little bit about how I wasn't obeying when I knew that he was waking me up, and I was like, I was afraid, like when he chastised me, because I knew that I missed a beat right there. So I fasted for a couple days, and I was like, oh no, because after all this work that I had been doing, um, and I don't know, I'll describe that at another time. It might end up in this video, but I don't know because that's another story. But after all the work that I had been doing, like, why would I sit there and be disobedient about, something like that? Um, so he woke me up at midnight, and I got up, and I was sitting at the piano, like practicing, not well, the keyboard, whatever. I was just practicing, like with my fingers and everything. But I was so sleepy, and I was falling asleep there, I was, and I would move around. I was trying to stay up, and I was wondering, like, what is? I wonder why. But this particular morning, when I got up and my head started nodding, she started speaking to me with an audible voice and told me to stay awake. He told me not to sleep, and he meant it. He and wisdom, like I would call it just to describe, like just so you can understand what I'm describing. And I don't mean it in like any kind of way, but it's like they tag teamed me. They were taking turns chastising me away, and okay, it was in a way it was scary, but it was like cool. I mean, it was like really cool, right? Because they're so cool. They're like really, really, really cool. But um, Ishi was telling, like, he would tell me something about waking up, and I was like, oh, and I would sit up, and then wisdom would tell me about waking up. See, just before that happened, remember I told you that he had chastened me, and that was because, like, when I would get up at the time that he told me to get up, but then I would look forward to napping in the daytime. He didn't mean for me to nap in the daytime. I didn't know that either. That I wasn't. I didn't. He had to show me like, no, 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 get up. But then even after he showed me that he wanted me to get up, I was like, but, just lacking discipline really. And and he spoke to me then while I was asleep, and he used the baby voice. And well, wait a minute, no, that wasn't the baby voice that time. The first time, he showed me his hand washing himself, like washing. He was washing his hands like that, and it was like it was rhythmic though. Like I'm not able to do it the way he was doing it. It was I mean, it was his hand, but he made his hands appear to me like baby hands, like infant hands, and I had a thought, and I was like, but these baby hands were like some powerful baby hands. They look just like baby hands, everything about the appearance, but the way they moved when they were washing, they were very fluid hands. But I still like I had thought about like baby hands, and when I saw those hands, I heard the voice of wisdom saying, "He has washed his hands," and it was because I was laying there asleep. Okay, when I was told not to. So, and I knew that I had been told not to. And maybe for a couple of days I was thinking about the baby hands, and so I had, like when I did my fast and everything too, it was like, well, there's another confession. I'm sorry that um I don't think I was thinking of it the right way when I saw that when I saw baby hands. So the one thing that I remember that wisdom said to me, because I don't remember everything they said to me, I was like struggling trying to stay awake and do what I was told. But the one thing that wisdom said to me that I remember, and this was like just before I was about to head out to the gym because I was waiting on that gym to open. I was like, if I gotta stay awake off that set, it's gonna be doing some exercise or something. But the gym wasn't open yet. So when it opened, I went. But wisdom said, and yes, he is a baby. Let me try to do it the way she did it. She said, and yes, he is a baby. He is the most beautiful baby in the whole wide world. Because so when I said, so you defended him a little bit like that, because he's over there chirping about him being a baby. Um, and and Ishi was cool, like how we used to think Michael Jackson was cool in the '80s. He's like way cooler than that, but I mean, but like just to give you like some kind of something to picture if you hadn't, you know, seen him that way before. Um, and this time that this was happening, I could hear them very clearly, and I could somewhat see like things like I saw very like vaguely saw like silhouettes in the dark. And even if the light was on or whatever, but they, you know, because I would drift in and out, like trying to stay awake. And as soon as I would close my eyes, they were speaking to me to tell me like open them eyeballs back up, right? And the one thing Ishi, he said something to me. Oh, that's what he said to me. I remember. He said he was chastising me about going to sleep, and he told me that he was gonna send a nation after me that spoke a language that I didn't know, and like the same way that he would speak through the prophets in the Bible. And I'm being told by Ishi that he's going to send a nation after me to come get me, like, but he was chasing me so that I could do what I needed to do. The reason that and I just learned recently like what that reason was. Now this occurred during the month of what is it? Was it June? It was June of 2022, and all I knew is that he told me to stay awake, and I didn't know why. Now I understand. So this has to do with the battle of the flesh. He was giving me the key of David. The key of David is directly associated with the battle of the flesh. When we battle our flesh to be pleasing in the sight of Ishi, that's how the doors are open that no man can shut, and closed that no other man can open. The key of David. And the doors that are being opened and shut are doors of communication. So when we battle our flesh, it diligently and when we battle our flesh, like I think it's best to choose goals that we could see clearly how to obtain the goal and push towards the goal and the goals. You don't have to just have one goal. You can have a couple of, we can function that way. You can work on different things at different times of the day. There's a whole 24 hours, right? So, but choose an obtainable, choose obtainable goals. Like you can have, we know like what the long term goal is supposed to be, but that might be too much to try to choose. Like you don't set yourself up for success and make tiny goals towards the big goal. So I'll make an example. When I started fasting, I had not fasted a day in my life on purpose. I fasted before, but not on purpose. And it seemed like it was going to be hard, but I took small steps to be able, and there's people that talk about fasting, like someone told me about a 21-day fast. Look, Moses fasted for 40 days. Elijah did too. Jesus did. Okay, but that doesn't mean that everybody is supposed to be trying to fast that long. And so I just want to say that to some of us that might be out there thinking about wanting to obtain the benefits of fasting unto Ishi. And if, you know, because I didn't know very much about it at first, and somebody would have told me, yeah, we're fasting for 3 days. And I would have been like, well, how could I do that? Well, what I did was I started out fasting for hours at a time. So I would say, get up, and I knew that like I had a routine. Like when I got up in the morning, I ate by usually within a particular time frame. Not a certain time, but just within a particular time frame. Like if I looked at the clock and said, oh, it's this o'clock, whatever that o'clock, and I hadn't eaten yet. Oh, I'm hungry. Yay. Yeah. So so whatever that time was, I don't even remember what it might have been now, but whatever that time was, decided to push 2 hours past that. And you gotta breathe and, ooh, okay, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. No, I'm not, no, I'm not, no, I'm not. And I used water. Like I know, like when people fasted in the Bible, they like they didn't eat food or drink water while they fasted, but I was doing best, my best to condition myself. Like where it says, I was preparing my heart to seek Ishi. That's what I was doing. I was preparing myself to be able to do the things that I'm learning that we're supposed to be able to do unto Him. And and it was an opportunity to do that. I'm grateful that was there that way because like the people of Nineveh, when Jonah came to tell them that well, you got to get your act together. Their king, like, it was like, nope, everybody's fasting, women, children, cattle, men, like all of y'all. It better not even be no ants out there eating anything, okay? And I was just cold turkey in the middle of whatever they were doing. So I'm grateful that it wasn't, my situation wasn't, or didn't appear to be that extreme where I had to fast that way right then and there. But and you know what? Now that I know now that the things that I know now, yeah, I should have been able to just do that, right? But whatever it is that we think we can do something and then push. Gotta push past a little bit past the thing that uh, what you think you can do. If we do that, we do it before Ishi in his fight, so that and with a desire in our heart that he looks upon us and is pleased to see what we're doing, and that's what we're hoping for, then that's what matters. And the reason why, and Isaiah chapter 58 tells you about the reason why you want to fast too. Um, I was excited about it. That's why I was like, okay, I got to do this. I got to do it. I got to do it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. But he says, like, when you fast the right way, and you'll follow his instructions, and he wants us to keep the Sabbath too. That's in that same chapter. It's 14 verses. Give it a shot. Take a look and see what you think. But when you fast like that, he says the result would be that your health would spring forth speedily, um, that you would call to him and he would answer and say, "Here am I." One of my questions that I had when I started reading the Bible from Genesis, I was like, wait a minute, like, all here, what I'm reading is Ishi is speaking to people here. What happened? Why doesn't he speak to us like that anymore? We don't hear about Ishi said this and he said that, like how we're reading about it from the time of Adam. Like he was just regular talking to them from what it says. Hey Adam, what you doing? Where'd you go? What you hiding for? How did you know you was right? So like that's a big deal. So I patiently waited to learn that answer from the book of Genesis all through Revelation. And when I got to Isaiah chapter 58, I'm like, oh, so you'll talk to us if we do this? Yeah, so I'm doing that. I'm like, okay, I gotta push. I'm like, cause he said, if you fast, if you, he says, if the purpose of fasting is to loosen the yokes off of other people's necks. Like that's what you want to have happen. That's what you're praying for. You want to undo all of the burdens upon everyone. You want him to hear you asking for that. And you won't even notice that you really mean it. And you're like, oh yeah, she means it, but she won't even take meat right now. Right? What are you gonna be doing when you fast? You wanna be feeding other people that are lacking or appear to be lacking in food, or you want to clothe them, you want to invite them to your home. Ooh, you're not supposed to invite nobody strange to your home. No, but somebody that's in need like that, who's gonna help them? Who's gonna invite them to their home? And that's the whole point about, or that's one major point about faith. You're not supposed to do that. You know that's not safe. Well, doing the will of Ishi is the safest thing you can ever do, ever. So yeah, but Ishi would show me like I would bring people to the house, and I did it a few times just to help the person, not being afraid of what they might try to do or whatever, or letting, or even if I did have a thought like that, but not letting that be the leader of my decisions about what I do. And I let Ishi be the one to tell me, okay, that's enough. You did let me know that that's enough. You did it. You showed me that you do the commandment. Yeah, I did. So